And a happy Father's Day to you as we get set for Peoria City and FC Pride here in the WPSL. My name's Cody Roskins. Alongside me, my broadcast partner tonight, Dalton Carmine. Dalton, as we get set up for this match here, it's the home finale for the Peoria City women's side in their inaugural season. A lot of learning lessons, ups and downs, but to this point, a very successful year for the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been stacking up some wins, a cool 4-2-0 record to this date, and they're looking for some redemption tonight, Cody. You know, got the short end of the stick in a 1-2 loss in their inaugural game this season. Looking for some redemption. See that ball fly into the back of the net and play with some aggressiveness.
Opposite of them will be the FC Pride as you hear the starting lineups getting announced underneath you. It'll be Brees Bass, Caroline Kelly, Colty Carson, Gretchen Mullen, Kira Verberg, Lauren Adam, Lydia Dodge, Peyton Hull, Samantha Pullen, Sammy King, and Summer Fischel. The starting 11 for FC Pride. And as you headed on, Dalton, a wrong end of the results outcome for Peoria City last time against FC Pride in the season opener. A bit of a weather delay took some steam out of their sails, ended up conceding one a little later than they'd like, ended up putting them on the back foot, but still a lot to learn from that first game.
Yeah, don't think we're going to have any weather issues here tonight, Cody. It is a perfect, picture-perfect day here at Shea Stadium as they get ready to do battle out on the pitch, and Peoria, a much different team from the team compared to when they played the Pride in the first game of the season. Look to improve on that.
On the host side, Peoria City, their starters in goal will be number 1, Peyton Rhodes, followed by Jordan Padilla, Joella Livingston, Sosi Dedekian, Leah Crotty, Mickey Hayashi, Lily Sutter, AJ Mayock, Bree Cordray, Emily Tobin, and then Emily Murphy rounds out the Peoria City women's starting 11, and they've produced some quality home results this year. They've won back-to-back here at Shea Stadium after a tough result against Lou Fuse, but they're outscoring opponents 10-2 in that stretch.
Yeah, they've seriously, and it's impressive from, given that it is their inaugural season, Cody, to have such a home presence and play such confident soccer on your home field when it is your first season as a franchise. They've come in and really put their foot down and showing the rest of the division, Cody, that this is not going to be an easy place to play from here on out.
Now, one of the players to highlight for Peoria City into this match, AJ Mayock, is that girl today for Peoria City. Hat trick last time out. She's looking to build upon that performance.
Indeed, Mayock in Champaign. She plays for the U of I, but in Champaign against Junction, pulls off a hat trick and a 3-1 victory over Junction. A comfortable victory for Peoria, and they look to build on that going into this one tonight.
Like we were saying earlier, this is the home finale for Peoria City this season. They will close out the season with a couple of matches in a row on the road. Meanwhile, for FC Pride, they've kind of had a balanced schedule to this point. They've tried to weather the storm as best they could. Them and Lou Fuse have been atop the table for most of the year. We'll go ahead and take this time to remind people about some of our sponsors that make this broadcast and others like it in the future possible. First, for Ducks down on Farmington. Big favorite location for the Clutch Sports Media crew. Great food, great service, excellent spot to grab a bite to eat for the postgame, or even tune in and watch the game then they're live. Ducks down on Farmington, great spot to take the family. As well as Green Chevrolet. Many locations around. If you're in the market for a new or used cars, please stop by and let them know Clutch Sports Media sent you. Local location just out here on Knoxville. Both teams have made their way to their respective sidelines as we get ready for kickoff. Just kind of anticipation here, Dalton. What are you kind of wanting to see out of each side here today?
For Peoria, they've been strong on the defensive side of the ball all season long. That back line is borderline impenetrable. But on the offensive side, at times they've had some struggles. So I'm really looking for Peoria to connect their passes on the offensive side of the ball to create opportunities. And on the other side for FC Pride, kind of the same thing, and really just play your brand of soccer. The Pride, they've had very few slip-ups throughout the course of the season, so don't come in here and get intimidated by a pretty decent crowd in a place that we've already established. Is very tough to play, Cody. Don't get intimidated by that. Stay within yourself and put an exclamation point on what's been a very, very nice season thus far heading into the back half of it.
Here's we're just about ready to get started as each team begins to wrap up their pregame huddle. Again, Peoria City trying to make up some ground on those top two teams in the division. Lou Fuse and FC Pride carry the top two spots. Peoria City, Missouri Reign right in behind them, and Junction FC brings up the latter portion of the table. Uniform matchup tonight. It'll be Peoria City in the home all golds with black trim, and opposite them will be FC Pride in the teal uniforms with black shorts and numbers. It's a contrasting uniform. Looked at one that you were a fan of heading into today.
Huge fan of it. I'm trying to think of like any other professional team. Maybe the Seattle Kraken have kind of a similar color scheme going on. I am a huge fan of the teal. It really jumps off the pitch.
Peoria City will have the first touch in the center circle. As it appears we are ready for play as we get a delayed flyover of sorts from just above. Emily Murphy with first possession for Peoria City. Deckian over to Brie Cordray. Cordray's had a phenomenal year orchestrating and captaining this team throughout its first season. Had a ton of stellar moments in her individual run of play as well. A couple of goal opportunities cleared off the line by her so far already this season. Here's Emily Tobin laying it up the seam to Emily Murphy. Murphy ahead for Tobin. Great first attempt for Peoria City. Line back inside, and that took all of 40 seconds. Peoria City up 1-0.
My goodness, Cody, I barely even had time to adjust my headset and kind of gather my bearings here. What a beautiful run and a beautiful ball into the box. Peoria City up 1-0 in the blink of an eye.
It doesn't happen much quicker than that. 40 seconds in, and it's a blink of an eye goal. Revenge on the mind for Peoria City, as you hinted on, Dalton, and they didn't waste much time.
They came out with a fire in their gut, Cody. Pretty hard to argue that. What a beautiful ball, beautiful goal. And who else, Cody? It was AJ Mayock on the goal, her fourth in the last 2 games, and a lot of time for her to get a fifth.
So Peoria City already out in front. A heck of a start for the Carp. Crotty whips it outside. And that was that deadly combination that Peoria City's been working in large part this season along this near side. It runs along the left side of their shape, but Emily Tobin has not been afraid to drive on with space when she has it, and Emily Murphy's not a bad person to connect with at the top of the formation.
She didn't waste any time, Cody, and as Tobin and Murphy kind of combined there at midfield, and seemingly in no time they were down close to the net. I thought a corner shot was going to be on the cards, but a beautiful pass into the box instead turned out to be a better idea.
Here's Bass. Bass for FC Pride. Trying to work against Tobin, and this will be a corner kick upcoming for FC Pride. So their first chance to equalize here as they'll work against Peyton Rhodes in goal.
Wonder how much that early goal, Cody, is going to change the complexion of the game, because you would think Peoria would come out trying to be aggressive. They certainly did. They got on the board, and now it's like, well, we're perhaps playing more defensive-minded first a lot earlier than we were anticipating.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple trains of thought you could go with it as FC Pride in out swinging corner. Header opportunity. Stab taken on, and that was always right of goal. But to your point, Dalton, there's always, well, you knew you had to score one to win anyway, so that the objective there doesn't change. And it happened so early that essentially you could still look at it as a 0-0 contest.
I think you have to if you're the Pride on that sideline. It happens. You're going to give up goals sometimes, and it's unfortunate for them that it was this early, and it does, as I said, change the complexion of the game. But, however, as you said, got to score to win anyway, and that has to be your mindset on that sideline.
Emily Tobin has the speedster Lily Sutter on this same side. Sutter, a long ball threat to run onto one. Nice footwork through the midfield here for Peoria City. Murphy able to hold it off for reinforcements. Somehow gets a ricocheted pass to Mayock. The Illini lays it ahead for Sutter. Sutter might have a chance. Sutter taken out just above the 18.
Goodness, that was a beautiful run. Another good ball. Both times Peoria's really had possession.
We will have our first booking of the night as it appears FC Pride will work a woman down for the remainder of the contest. A goal-scoring opportunity for Sutter as it was deemed oh so close to the penalty box, and this will set back FC Pride for the remainder of the match.
My goodness, there's kind of a wild unfolding of events there. Again, it happened so quick with just the blazing speed of Sutter, and that was a goal-scoring opportunity. And from my vantage point, looked like she was inside of that 18-yard box, but clearly not. Regardless, a golden opportunity for goal number 2 for the Carp.
Colty Carson appears to be the guilty party on the red card. They'll set up Mayock and Crotty over top the ball. Again, this just inches outside of the 18, so it saves what would have been a penalty. But from here, Mayock's shown the ability to really test keepers, and so inside of 6 minutes, you could see Peoria City strike out in front 2-0 if this goes their way.
And the Pride, as you said, down a player for the rest of the match. That's going to make it harder to muster up some offense.
Mayock over the ball with 2 hiding it. Laid off short. Ball shot on and just kissed wide. Joella Livingston gave it a heck of a ride.
Livingston with that left foot, that was an absolute missile, and the keeper for the Pride would have had no chance if that was able to find its way past the goal line, but fortunately up and over. And the Pride, a big exhale on that sideline.
Crotty has it. This will go to FC Pride. So again, a turbulent first 6 minutes for FC Pride. They're trying to weather the storm here. Right now, Peoria City playing with all sorts of confidence. Easily their best start to a match this season. And Crotty goes in low to try and stop the advance. And when it's all said and done, we'll inquire the foul.
A good aggressive defense, no malicious attempt from any play there by Crotty. The shot to clear, plays her college ball at Coastal Carolina. Maybe that's another team that can kind of match this color combo that the Pride has going on. Coastal Carolina, maybe a little bit darker blue, but
ball finally whipped outside and too far out in front. This will go back to Peoria City. And again, if you're just tuning in, it was a goal at the 42nd mark for Peoria City that saw them out in front. And not too long ago, a red issued at about the 5-minute mark to FC Pride. At the time we have it right now for Colty Carson. And so a member down for the next 85 minutes for FC Pride. All swung ahead and out of play across that far in line. I wouldn't be a gambling man if I asked, but it's just, I can't believe that has to be the quickest goal in Peoria City history, regardless of men or women.
It's, yeah, absolutely.
40 seconds.
You know, just Peoria City's program hadn't been around for too terribly long, but 40 seconds, it's like nearly impossible to beat that, I would say. I mean, unless you're really just going down there full-fledged as soon as you get the ball. But, yeah, that's got to be the quickest one in history, and I don't know if that's getting broken anytime soon or if ever.
You mentioned Peoria City's brief history, only their 4th year in existence as an organization. The men's side, the inaugural built-out roster, I guess, if you will. They've played now, this being their 4th year in the USL 2. The women in their inaugural season, they each have their own academy teams, which are in their infancies as well. And so Peoria City's starting to get their legs under them, but strong performances like this could go a long way in building into future years. And Peoria City, again, mark one of a good team is defending your home field, and so far they've done very well this season. Only one in-division defeat so far. And they're outscoring teams 10-2 on the season here at Shea Stadium. And Hayashi in a little bit of trouble, but it will escape for Peoria City.
Overall, I think both men's and women's side of Peoria City, phenomenal for the city of Peoria. When you think Peoria, you aren't instantly going to think soccer. You'll probably think basketball just due to a much longer and richer history. But these two teams really helping the great city of Peoria take a large step forward, even a leap forward in terms of soccer. And
Hayashi in the midfield. 10th minute here in half number one. Hayashi on the advance. A little bit of pinball action. As if the early goal didn't change things for how FC Pride has to play the remainder of this contest, the red card to Carson will. They now have to effectively change the shape. And for the time being, it looks like they will drop a member of the midfield back and cut down on the number of forwards that they'll play at the top of the formation.
Right, this is just playing a woman down is something you do have to practice, Cody, but it's not something you ever have to want to execute when the ball is kicked off. And in the early going, FC Pride finds themselves in that exact situation.
Livingston and Mayock making life very difficult for FC Pride deep in their own defensive third.
Yeah, Peoria not taking the foot off the gas.
And a foul there against Mayock will have FC Pride with the free kick. FC Pride trying to build from out of the back. Mayock with a clean interception. Mayock, she'll try one from distance, and an all too easy corral.
Don't know if Mayock's got eyes in the back of her head, but one of the Pride defenders is coming up from behind already to take that one away before she let that one fly. Not a bad shot. It's another shot on goal, but a save that goalkeeper will make 10 times out of 10.
This will stay with Peoria City's Emily Tobin. A lot of space for Sutter. Sutter gives it a whirl, and that one 2 hops.
Peoria starting to rack up the shots on goal, something that the Pride really need to start matching here if they want to boost their confidence and scratch one off.
Well, one of Peoria City's more impressive performances this year came against Junction FC, where they held Junction FC without a shot in the 90-minute contest and racked up nearly 40 attempts of their own. Obviously, a long way to pace for something like that tonight, but so far, Peoria City already with 4 shots in the opening 12 minutes, one of which has found the back of the net. Back outside, Livingston and Padilla with her. Trying to sneak it to Murphy, and Hayashi won't be there first, but she will come away with it.
Hayashi's kind of been all over the pitch here in the early going. Really liking the way she's playing, being aggressive, but not overly aggressive. Through ball, no success there.
Tadekian tried to sneak that one through. Hayashi's there, out on her horse. Is Bass once more. Bass waiting for help, lays it off. Verberg. Right back to Verberg, and the offside flag is up.
Again, good defense there from Peoria. Forcing Pride into a turnover when it looked like they might have had numbers.
Peyton Rhodes has it for Peoria City. Again, the problem-solving skills for FC Pride have to become fairly advanced already early in this contest. We've touched on it a number of times, but perhaps the quickest goal in the history of Peoria City as an organization, followed up by a red card just a few moments later, has his team down a man and down a goal.
And the Pride lucky to not be down too, as there's a golden opportunity on that red card just outside of the box for Suter, who laid it off to a teammate in a whistler that went just high. So very well could be 2-0. Pride happy that it's not.
Seen some unique results already, though, this summer when teams have been down perhaps a player, and the men's side of things, they're on the wrong end of a result. Playing a team down a man. Peoria City's men's side lost a 1-0 lead in the second half to Sunflower State FC after leading that contest 1-0 and up 11 men to 10, which was their first loss of the year. And so Peoria City women's side, all too familiar with the circumstances here, could mean. Hayashi right back out. Here's Murphy. You can see how far back FC Pride laying right now. Essentially 6-7 back, and now they'll try and break out with 3 on the attack.
I'm loving the communication from both sides here in the early going. You can hear it all the way up here, everyone talking where they're at, where they're going, where the ball should go. It's a characteristic of every good soccer team. Got to be able to talk to each other.
Murphy lays it through to Sutter. Lily Sutter again. Sutter, one on keeper, couldn't quite sneak it through. And that was one of those moments where perhaps a little too on the nose with the strike.
Right, I think she was more focused on the velocity than the placement of that shot, which isn't always necessarily a bad thing, but that time right into the hands of the keeper. But regardless, a really nice ball, and Peoria's really handling the ball in the midfield well and timing their runs and placing their passes in good spots.
Sutter is a tough threat to guard at the top of the formation as Mayock moves ahead now. She's got a ton of speed and such a long stride as Mayock floats one over goal, and you could hear the collective crowd here at Shea Stadium hold their breath on that one. And she has delivered some jaw-dropping goals this season.
Yeah, no stranger to putting one in the back of the net from outside the 18-yard box or from some obscure angles. That one nearly was another that she could add to her tally.
Trying to connect with Bass once more. She seems to be the favorite target of this FC Pride attack. Now on a near turnover here for Peoria City, but Dedekian with a nice battle back into the play. Would have been perhaps 2-on-1 with Rhodes. And a foul given. We'll have it a free kick for Peoria City.
Yeah, Dedekian, a poor pass, but immediately inserts herself right back into the play aggressively and doesn't foul. Grabs possession right back. Otherwise, Pride are probably celebrating tying the game right now.
17th minute here in half number 1. It's been fairly free-flowing outside the first 6 or so minutes. Mayock outside for Jordan Padilla. Touch and go with Livingston. Padilla chips it back inside. And that one stabbed away. It will be a Peoria City corner. Excuse me, it'll be a throw-in. Thought initially they may have signaled for a corner, but Hayashi on the receiving end from Tobin. Hayashi weighing her options, elects to flick it ahead to Murphy and Tobin.
This is where Peoria wants to play their game, up 1. If you can keep it in the opposition's half of the pitch, then you're going to be feeling pretty good. Not many offensive opportunities for Pride thus far. Here could be one for Peoria.
And Sutter just unable to make something happen with the limited real estate. It will belong to FC Pride. Bree Cordray or Peoria City will switch the play out wide to Padilla. Played ahead, right back to her. Off the feed from Mayock. Padilla continues to advance. Murphy. Murphy puts on a strike, and that one's into the pines.
I like the thought process there for Murphy. Turned and saw that she might have a through ball, but elected not to take it. Would have been too risky. And was in good enough position to let one fly.
Heavy touch is corralled for the Pride. Big move forward. Official, a lot of space to move. Lays it off, and that one was undercooked. Hayashi bodies forward for Peoria City. Nine back in defense right now for FC Pride. They know how quickly they'll have to get back, pulling down a player. They were already navigating with somewhat of a shorter bench. Karate to Hayashi. Peoria City contempt with laying it back. Here's Leah Crotty. This is where things can kind of get difficult for Peoria City and can allow FC Pride to navigate their way back into a game with down a member. All it takes is one poor touch, and that can really open things up for them, but it also allows them to set the block so low that the passing lanes become very constricted, Dalton.
Right, yeah. Their Pride is very content with coming back and playing stronger defense and hoping that that defense turns into offense. They certainly have the athletes to do just that. And that one's going to be offsides, but they can kind of lull you to sleep a little bit if you're Peoria City and you have the ball and the passing lanes just aren't open. You just got to be ready to get back even though you are playing a woman up.
Taylor Wirt comes into the contest for FC Pride. Again, club out of Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where Peoria City opened their 2025 season, in which the Pride came away with a 2-1 win. Oh, big move here from Bash. He nearly had just a good enough touch onto that initial reception to turn it into something. Ball whipped in. Not a whole lot of recipients there for FC Pride.
Offense seems to be picking up the pace just a little bit. More passes are connecting for Pride as ball retreats back to midfield.
Lauren Adam. Ball led through. Pullins. Samantha Pullins lays it off right in front of goal, and it's stomped away. Bass puts it on, and Rhodes jumps on top of it, and that's the first real good the Pride have had so far.
And probably one they're going to want back. You know, maybe an extra pass or two would have done wonders for them, but two really good looks and a stronger defensive stand from Peoria as they take over possession now.
This will stay with Peoria City along the near side, as we will have substitutions coming into the contest for FC Pride. Lydia Dodge coming back in. And Peoria City will also have a change as Annika Klaus. Joella Livingston getting the spell for the Carp. And yet another substitution coming in for Peoria City as Lauren Seppi.
Unlimited substitutions in this league. If you haven't been able to catch on to that from your seat at home, you can see a lot of new faces in and out of the game.
Yeah, and the other unique thing compared to what the USL2 has and much more college flavors, the sub-offs, once they're made, can also re-enter the contest. Pass underserved. FC Pride on the forward advance. Here's Bass. Bass give and go, and that will be a free kick given in a dangerous spot.
Interesting. We'll see how Pride lines up here, if they want to let one fly towards the net on this free kick or if they're happy with passing it and letting the ball ping-pong around a little bit in the 18-yard box, but not a spot where you want to commit a foul if you're Peoria.
Katie Kroger will come in. She will spill Bass. So again, on top of that formation, getting some more fresh bodies in, trying to make perhaps a strong push over these next 15 minutes for FC Pride. So we go 25th minute here in half number one. Going back post, header opportunity was there, wasn't struck all that firmly, and Peyton Rhodes will have it on the goal kick.
And not a bad opportunity. It just seemed like Pride weren't really sure if they wanted to try to head that on net or head it back to the middle for a potential other opportunity, but Peoria will take it as they control possession now on their own half.
Murphy right back to Cordray. Cordray weighted ball over the top. Tobin tried to get in on the action. It's all said and done. The substitute, Annika Klaus. Got to give a lot of credit to FC Pride here, Dalton. They've been able to lock in after being down a member on the field after a 5th-minute red card was issued.
Yeah, defense has really stepped up, I would say. Peoria hasn't had really good opportunities in over 10 minutes now.
And sometimes that kind of necessarily helps you out, but it definitely forces you to be more active in some of your spots on the field, depending on the shape. You can see now almost 8 back. All chipped ahead. That one will coast out the back. So we'll have another substitute coming in, Amy Vasquez for FC Pride. This one will sail towards the press box and find its way out of the run of play. This will be a Peoria City throw-in from Tobin.
Split second thought I might have to make a play there to save you, Cody, but just went a few feet short of us.
When in doubt, Dalton, you save the equipment first. Broadcasters later.
Yeah, good point, good point.
Emily Tobin. It's a good footwork. Able to escape some trouble. Tobin again. Able to get it to Seppi. Seppi will drive on. Seppi looking for some recipients. And right in front of goal and upended. Looked like perhaps Annika Klaus was trying to get in on it. But well done again by the FC Pride defense to answer the call.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was in the spot they were supposed to be there on that play. Goalkeeper just comes out. Kind of takes a risk being that aggressive, but it pays off.
Don Padilla to Mayock. Mayock tries to curl a pass outside to Klaus. And Mayock is not one you want to try and play with when you're in your own defensive third. She's not afraid to, one, take a foul, but also with her length, she's able to really kind of make things messy, kind of like she does here.
Right, she's not scared to take her lunch money and start an attack of her own in that part of the pitch, but maybe starting attack here is Pride potentially.
Kroger out wide. Nice in tackle from Tobin.
Textbook Tobin right there. Perfectly timed slide tackle and gets all ball.
Murphy trying to track it down. Again, over the top and onside. Kroger cuts it back in, and Dedekian is there. Hayashi outside to Jordan Padilla as we get into the 30th minute. And this is where Peoria City has to take advantage. A downed member in the midfield. They'll work against 5 along the back line. Tobin tries to play it ahead. Trying to get it outside once more to Seppi. Recordre calling for the ball along that back line for Peoria City. Here's Emily Murphy. She's been perhaps the best playmaker so far for Peoria City in this contest. Now sending one over the top to Seppi.
There's kind of an awkward bounce there. Seppi was where she should have been, but wasn't sure whether to go up and try to head it to keep possession or let it bounce.
Padilla steps in front of one. Oh, nice layoff from Padilla. Murphy trying to battle back into the play. It's taken away by FC Pride. Ward able to play it through. Kroger again working against Tobin. She gets past her. Kroger and Rhodes doesn't field it cleanly off that initial hop, but no harm done.
Yeah, that ball had some English on it as it spun towards Rhodes. She decides to stay back and let it bounce wisely. Was able to knock it down, and now the Carp have possession.
Padilla again looking for some options, able to hunt out Murphy. Ahead to Mayock, doesn't have a ton of help around her. So again, after a very high flying first, call it 6 minutes, this game has kind of found more of that calm water feel, if you will, in this first half, as neither offense has really generated a ton of chances here in the last 20 minutes or so.
Well, yeah, and one team, and that's Peoria, feels much more confident in that after getting that first goal. However, it's not the end of the world if you're Pride. You still got plenty of time, and also you're able to slow down the offensive, just the overall offensive flow of Peoria, because they came out with their passes connecting and making smart plays, and now their defense has kind of come into their own, although they are down a goal to Pride.
A lot of bodies there to try and win that seconds. Cordray to Padilla. Padilla tries to find Mayock. Instead, it's taken away, and it finds its way to Hayashi. Laying it in behind for Emily Tobin. Tobin back to Seppi. Seppi plays it into the mixer. Jordan Padilla, she has the confidence to go from distance.
Really wanted to there, but wisely pulls back.
They'll take one anyway, and it's in! Peoria City finds that second. Right on cue, Peoria City drops one in.
Goodness, and just kind of out of nowhere, a few passes here and there, and eventually getting some space as the attacker with that strong left foot just over the outstretched glove of the goalkeeper, and Carp are feeling good here as we approach minute number 33.
So Peoria City claims that 2-0 lead that they so coveted here in half number one, and Hayashi will be subbed off in the ensuing pause of play. Get to the official goal scoring sequence once we get it relayed up to us.
For the 33rd minute by number 24, Liza Wiley. Assisted by 4, Yerdan Padilla.
So that last one, Padilla to Wiley. As City claims that 2-0 lead here in half number one. Able to find their way through here. Seppi with Peoria City now. Kind of has the feel that if you're FC Pride, the next goal has to be yours, or you're really looking at a vertical uphill battle, if you will.
Big, big, big difference between 2 and 3 in the game of soccer, and especially if Pride can get one before the half. Then they go into their locker room, of course, not happy and still a player down, but
In the game.
yeah, either you're in the game, you're just more locked in because you've seen one go to the back of the net. It's like, okay, only one more, and then we're tied up. But if you're down 3, yeah, you are climbing a very, very, very steep hill.
Here down Padilla. Hunts out Wiley. Back heel to Padilla. Starting to get pretty inventive now in the final third for Peoria City. Trying to lay one through that time for D. Not quite there as Leah Crotty steps in front.
Oh, nice job by Crotty taking down there, getting up and keeping possession of the ball.
Maybe some frustration starting to set in for the Pride. This first half's gone is about against their possible game plan, is about as much as one can.
And 9, Brees Bass.
And Brees Bass and Verberg will both come back into the contest here to close out the final 10 minutes of the half. Tobin able to run it up to Seppi. Throw in for FC Pride. Seppi steps in front of it and nearly found it all the way up to Wiley. That'll be a foul against Wiley.
Yeah, foul starting to rack up here in these last couple minutes as Peoria wants to keep the foot on the gas, and as you said, maybe a little bit of frustration boiling over for Pride.
Trying to lay one through and successfully connecting. Crossed inside and on the back flick from Bass. Trying to perhaps fool Peyton Rhodes, but that's about as good as an effort she could have put on that attempt.
Right, kind of an awkward spot for Bass there. She comes in and tried to hit it with that little heel flick. Tried to go far post on Rhodes and was unsuccessful, and Rhodes swallows it up, and Peoria the other way here quickly.
Ball laid in, trying to connect with Klaus. She was onside, and in doing so forced FC Pride back, and it'll be a throw in for City, as we will have another sub coming in.
Pride substitution, 17, Samantha Pullins.
So Pullins will re-enter the contest. She had that really good opportunity in the first 25 minutes for FC Pride. Leah Crotty looked like she was trying to lay one in for Mayock, and when you get that close, a little tougher of a window.
Indeed. This is the part here, aside from stoppage time, you got less than 10 minutes to go here before the halftime whistle. This is where the offensive Pride really needs to start cranking things up. Maybe it will here.
FC Pride not all too happy with the no call from Tobin's challenge. This one all the way back to Peyton Rhodes. Dangerous work here for Peoria City. Seppi just lines it up the near channel. Peoria City, composure at the back. Just enough of it to avoid what would have been a very dangerous situation for them.
Right, indeed. Keeping their composure, as you said, I like that term. That's what they've been doing on the defensive side of the ball all night long. It's led to only 3 shots for Pride and no goals.
Give you a quick rundown of the unofficial stats. At this point, 8 shots, 1 save, no corners for Peoria City. for FC Pride. 3 shots, 4 saves, 1 corner, and 2 goals against. Keep in mind they are also working a man down for the remainder of this match after that 5th minute red card. Jordan Padilla. Able to slip it into to Tobin. Emily Tobin. Looked like she wanted to maybe wind that one up for herself, but.
Yep, had her eyes kind of set towards the goal and then switch it to a teammate. Was caught kind of somewhere in between, put too much on it. That one goes out of bounds.
Kroger back into the game for FC Pride as we get under 5 minutes to go here in half number 1 before we get the stoppage time tacked back on. Couldn't be more than just a minute or 2 with the 2 goals and lone booking of the half. Tobin again along the near side. Wiley off to Mayock. Mayock to Padilla. Jordan Padilla drives through. And trying to play it backside, nobody home.
Pride's done a pretty good job containing Padilla. She's been on that right side of the pitch, ready to go, ready to deliver some passes into the box, and they've been able to shut her down. At least to this point. No whistle.
A little miscommunication there from our officiating crew as the near side and 4th official for this match had signaled for substitutions, but that ball I'm not sure had really gone out of play yet, and our field official just a little caught off guard by that. Throw in for FC Pride. Trying to switch the play, and it's undercut. Annika Kloss.
Nice play by Kloss there to not get too ahead of herself. Realized she didn't have numbers. Decided to drop it back to a teammate.
Mayock trying to get it to Seppi. 43rd minute here in half number 1. Leah Crotty. Dedekian. City looking to close out the half on what will be a very high note after a very productive first 45 minutes, but still a chance to put perhaps one more on. Ball outside, put back in towards the mixer. Seppi.
Sure, he wanted a foul there after that second initial hit.
Jordan Padilla. Run off the ball. Now Tobin sends it off FC Pride and will stick with Peoria City. .45th minute here in half number 1 as we get ready for stoppage time. Wiley. Wiley from outside.
All things considering, not a bad shot off the right foot of Wiley. Got that one on target, even despite being well outside of the 18-yard box, and Time running out here for the Pride to scratch one off before the halftime whistle. Don't know how many more opportunities they'll have. Don't have one here. And I take that back. Foul called on Peoria.
Kroger's done well to try and at least carve out some space at the top of this Peoria City formation, at the back of this Peoria City formation. She's kind of shifted around a little bit with the shape having to change due to only 10 field players currently for FC Pride. Summer Official will have the free kick. Floating in, ball's loose. Loading one up and taking a shot is Bass.
Nice job by Rose to come out there and punch that one out of danger.
And sent out a play by Seppi. It will stick with FC Pride. And out of play to Peoria City for the near side throw-in.
Big 2 minutes, yells the coach of FC Pride, and that's indeed what it is, a big 2 minutes. Even if you can't scratch one off, you'd like to see just more offense, more shots on goal, something that you could take with you in terms of positive momentum into the halftime locker room.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the second set of 45 minutes, and that is a blatant tactical foul coming for FC Pride. That is a easy yellow.
Yeah, just some frustration there from Lauren Adam turning the ball over and grabbing on to the opposition to prevent another potential goal for Peoria. Certainly some forward progression it would have been. That's one of the easier yellow cards you'll ever see.
Dedekian will have the free kick for Peoria City. Fairly good-looking service into the box. And that backside post, header was there, but just unable to square it up to a teammate.
That was a lovely ball, nearly from midfield from Dedekian into the box. Didn't quite have the angles or the power on the shot to scratch off a third one for Peoria. Halftime whistle should come any second now, I would think.
Seppi nearly wins it back for Peoria City. Official running out of space and running out of help. Gretchen Mullen. Katie Kroger.
Last chance here for the Pride. They got a little bit open space.
Big drive on. Fischel puts one on, and that's into the 309. And headed away and on top of goal. So inadvertently getting it back. So there you have the halftime whistle through 45 minutes and change. Peoria City leads 2-0 over FC Pride. We want to take this minute to thank some of our sponsors and others that make this broadcast and others like it in the future possible. First, for Ducks down on Farmington. I want to give the fine folks at Ducks another shout out. Is again, great spot for great food, great atmosphere down on Farmington Road here in Peoria, a favorite spot of those of us here at Clutch Sports Media. Please let them know that Clutch Sports Media sent you. As well as Green Chevrolet and their many locations. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, please go on down and visit the fine folks at Green Chevrolet with their many locations, including one just here on Knoxville Avenue. We'll step aside for another short break as we get set for the second half of action.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes.
Whoa!
In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for two reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at autohouseofpeoria.com today.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for two reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois, where it's Peoria City leading FC Pride 2-0 at the break. Cody Roskins, Dalton Carmine here. Dalton, breaking down that first half of action, it was a 42nd goal by Peoria City scored by Mayock that put him out in front. An ensuing red card just moments later, followed up by a 33rd minute goal by Liza Wiley, and Peoria City really hasn't looked back.
Exactly, Cody. You know, they got off to the start that they really wanted to get off to, and they haven't really let any other aspect of the game affect them. After getting that first one, the game plan shifted just a little bit, and they were able to scratch off a second. So they are feeling good, and they should be right now.
Give you a quick run off of the unofficial stats to this point. 9 shots, 1 save, no corners for Peoria City. 5 shots, 5 saves, 1 corner for the visitors in FC Pride. I want to take this minute to thank some of our sponsors that make this broadcast and others like it in the future possible. First, for our friends down on Farmington Road and Ducks. Ducks, again, just another spot that we love to go to here. The fine folks at Clutch Sports Media, one of our favorite spots after post-game, and great food, great service, great people down there at Ducks, as well as Green Chevrolet. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, please hit them up and let them know that Clutch Sports Media sent you. Many locations throughout the Central Illinois area, including one out on Knoxville Avenue. Dalton, as we continue to count down, about 8.5 minutes to go here in this first half, at the intermission here before we get to halftime. Just, I guess if there's a way for FC Pride to get into it, they're going to almost not necessarily have to abandon the defense, but they're going to have to start kind of gambling here at the midfield.
Yeah, especially when we get into the later stages of the second half. They're going to have to take a few more chances. They've had a few, and that's been the key difference in the game. Peoria capitalized on their chances. Pride thus far have not. So I think the message in the locker room has to just be, all right, everybody take a deep breath. 2 is very doable. They have one of the more high-octane offenses across the entire division. They know they can do it. Now it's about going out there, remembering the game plan, and executing to tie this thing up.
Again, 2-0 we stand at the break here in Peoria. We'll step aside for another short one as we get set for the second half action between Peoria and FC Pride.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for 2 reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at autohouseofpeoria.com today.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for two reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
And welcome back once more to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois, where the scoring line runs Peoria City 2, FC Pride 0, as FC Pride tries to solve the problem of down 2 goals and down a man here in the second half. Dalton, it won't be easy, but 2 goals is doable, but they're going to have to take some risks and win them.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when they finally have possession of the ball. They're making a few passes, but nothing is really coming of it. And in order to do that, you might have to send someone from your defensive line a little more forward compared to what they may be comfortable with / used to. But you got to be ready when the ball's headed your way, and you got to start peppering some shots on Peoria, whose defense has been very strong all game long.
Just about a minute 40 to go before we get things going here in half number 2. A handful of substitutions to note. We'll get those relayed up to us here in just a few moments. But as Peoria City looks to farewell Shea Stadium here in their 2025 inaugural season, to this point, only the 1 loss in 3 tries. Ending the year 3-1, a 75% win percentage in your home venue in your first season is a heck of a way to begin the organizational's women's team.
Right, and as we touched on it earlier, Cody, you just don't know what the chemistry is going to look like when you have a new program and you have a bunch of people who haven't played together before, and bringing all these players from all over the country. Of course, a lot of them are from Central Illinois or just Illinois in general, but we've got players who play their college ball way over yonder. You just don't know how it's going to end up, and all things considering, I'd give this season for Peoria an A+.
FC Pride began this season torrid hot. They were hard-pressed to be stopped by much of anybody. Lou Fuse and them have been essentially counter-punching each other at the top of the table here in 2025. Peoria City and Missouri Reign not far behind them, but in a 5-team division, eventually some teams will just take some licks more than others, and Peoria City and Missouri Reign have jostled in the 3rd and 4th positions, and bringing up the rear has been Junction FC. It appears that both teams have just wrapped up their halftime huddles, and our officials are making their way back to the field of play, and we should shortly have the second half underway.
And Lou Fuse and Pride have been 1A and 1B ever since the first kickoff of the season. As you said there, Cody, and you would hate, if this one ends up how it looks like it's going to end up, which is a convincing victory for Peoria, you would hate for those negative feelings to boil over and turn into a rough last few games for Pride. Not saying that will happen, and they're very much in this game here tonight, only down a pair of goals, but just being able to bounce back after a loss is just another characteristic that every good team competing for the division title has to have.
Here's we're just about set and ready to go, as should be Pride FC ball. And first possession here as we start the second half. Question now being just who will have that first touch for them, as we appear to not have a ball yet.
Really, really hard to get the second half underway when you don't have one of those.
And that problem has been solved. So now that we have the necessary equipment to start the second half.
Things considering soccer is about the least amount of equipment you need to play it, and unfortunately had a delay to get a ball.
FC Pride has it, and we have begun the second half. They will work from right side of your screen to the left. Peoria City obviously in the opposite direction as they flip sides here for half number 2. Don Padilla pokes it free. Joella Livingston back out to Padilla from Mayock. And that will be a throw-in just about as close to the corner kick flag as you can have for Pride FC. This one will stick with FC Pride. You can slightly see just to the left of the Shea Brigade side, Peoria City's men's team in attendance today. They are coming back after a lengthy road stint to begin their USL 2 season. They've played four of their first 6 games this season on the road. Only 2 home games so far for the men. They will end the year with 4 straight at home. So they're very much looking forward to closing out this season here at Shea Stadium in a hunt for a possible division title, much like the Peoria City women's side began this season with a plethora of home matches.
And the women looking like a title caliber team here tonight. It'll be difficult, so the ball will have to roll their way, but certainly doable. And for the men's side, 4 of 6 to start the season on the road. It's already hard enough to establish consistency and throughout the long soccer season, but when you're constantly bouncing around city to city, it makes that 10 times harder. So hopefully for the men's side, they can start playing their best soccer in front of the home fans with 4 games in a row here in Peoria.
Cordray tries to drift one in. Leah Crotty. The women's side will effectively finish out the year on the road. They'll have 2 separate road stints to end the campaign. This one put into the mixer, backside, and that one jumped on and corralled. It was a threatening ball, but FC Pride up to the challenge.
Looks like game plan hadn't changed too much in the halftime locker room for Peoria.
Emily Tobin got things going initially for Peoria City in that first half. Sutter.
Great ball from Hayashi, just better defense there from Pride.
Here's Sutter. Now Tobin laying it back for Sutter. Now Jordan Padilla might put one on. A little too congested for her to put on a shot. Good pressure defense. And that will stay with FC Pride. Tobin wins it back for Peoria City, and that one will escape into the grandstands. Bree Cordray. A lot of room to drive forward. Cordray all the way through to the keeper.
And not really the spot that Cordray's used to playing. She's done a phenomenal job as the last line of defense paired up with Dedekian, but decided to put a shot towards the goal. Don't mind it.
There's Livingston. And it's been a slightly warm day here in Peoria, but a nice little breeze here for the most part. It's been a great evening for the Peoria City women's side to close out their season here at home. Here to Padilla. Over to Hayashi. Back outside for Tobin. Tobin tries to go low and generates a Peoria City corner. Just their first of the night.
I was going to say, here in the first 10 minutes or so, Pride had one. I couldn't recall if Peoria had one yet, but see how aggressive they want to play this and what exactly they want to do in terms of ball placement.
It'll be Jordan Padilla along that far side, so most likely an in-swinging ball. Low liner. Right towards the front of goal and nearly skewed in. This is a really good effort from Dedekian.
Really good ball sent in, and Dedekian came flying in there.
Excuse me, that was Tobin on that good effort.
Yeah, Tobin had the good positioning and put it where she wanted it to, just a bit too wide.
So FC Pride, not with the cleanest advance. So yes, Tobin oh so close to kissing that one in the back post. Again, she has been in large part the spoon stirring the drink for this Peoria City offense. Cordray trying to go backside. Again, back outside to Tobin. She'll lay it ahead for Sutter. And a well-in tackle. We'll give it right back to Peoria City. Murphy tried to have it for Peoria City. Instead, FC Pride trying to move ahead, but just not enough bodies forward.
Right, and then the defense has been standing strong in the early going in this second half, but it's not turning into offense. The timing's just a little bit off. Passes aren't as accurate as they could be. You probably need to clean that up and start doing it quick.
Ball laid in behind for Mayock. She is onside. Just nobody making that central run. Here's your Dan Padilla. Padilla loads up something backside for Sutter. Sutter's header nearly got it there. Murphy over the top and goal kick.
Well, Sutter was there and kind of a high pop fly of a header almost completely fooled the goalkeeper, because it's about the last type of shot you're expecting if you're the keeper in that situation. But luckily for her, it was wide and probably take over here.
That one escapes. Lauren Adam not too happy with that possession. Here's Joella Livingston. Laid off for Murphy, and that one's overcooked.
It's plays like that right there where the looks like a breakout pass could be made, and Pride just don't have the numbers.
And it's got to obviously be very exhausting for them. One, obviously playing the man down, but having to play so much of the defense here, it's really tough to break back out when you're sitting with such a low block. Cordray and Padilla. Livingston back to Padilla. Back ahead for Livingston. Livingston tries to lay something in front onto the doorstep, but instead it will be Haley Wade's possession. Cordray steps in front. All the way back to Dedekian.
Katie Kroger has been kind of the lone woman up, trying to kind of facilitate the offense and hasn't had much luck. It's mostly thanks to Dedekian with her phenomenal defense. Their back line of defense has been really strong for Peoria. Cordray as well with Dedekian.
Livingston. Dedekian. Now Leah Crotty. Played in behind for Sutter, and that one's stabbed away. So we will have a three-person substitution coming on for FC Pride. Amy Velasquez, Lydia Dodge,
20, Amy Velasquez, and 21, Marion Coro.
Here's Sutter. Sutter puts one on. And again, Peoria City not bashful at all, trying to collect that third from perhaps even further distance out than their second.
Yeah, I had luck with them in the past. One of them went in, a couple of them, and make it a little bit tougher on the goalkeeper, even though they don't go in. Here's a whistle.
Padilla whistled for the foul. Free kick for FC Pride. Emily Murphy dueling with Bass. And here's Padilla. Here's Emily Tobin. Tobin played in beside Livingston. And that was less than a foot above the bar.
Livingston, a nice job to gather herself there and put a strong shot on. And yeah, just inches away from off the crossbar and down into the net, which would have been the third, and third from a different goal scorer each time if that one was to find the back of the net.
Really good ball. Laid through. FC Pride trying to find something. And that will be a foul generated and a free kick incoming. As Velasquez with a really good run through to open things up.
Exactly what the doctor ordered there from the offensive side of the ball for Pride. And a free kick. You really can't let this one go by the wayside.
Initially thought it was going to be a free kick after the down number for City, but it looks like we'll just have a throw-in.
FC Pride substitution, 26, Summer Fisher.
So Fischel back into the game. She took the free kicks mainly in large part earlier in the year. Earlier in this contest. Good throw in here. Trying to perhaps overlay it back to Bass. So another throw in coming in for FC Pride. Lauren Adam.
This is where you need to be if you're FC Pride. You need to be on this third of the pitch. Time is not exactly on your side at this particular point in the game.
So on the free kick. Fischel with some service. And that's wide.
Not a bad ball at all. It just looked like Pride didn't have the size or the timing to get one past Rhodes. Just kind of been the story of the entire game for them.
Rhodes gets us back started, and now here's Bree Cordray. We go 59th minute, now into the 60th minute here in the second half. Here's Emily Murphy. Emily Murphy back outside to Jordan Padilla. Undercut intended for Mayock. Long ball on. Velasquez. Trying to sneak it past, and that will be a corner.
Goodness, it was a beautiful long ball played there by Pride. And Didakian came clear from the other side of the pitch. She's still catching her breath, and I don't blame her to knock that ball away.
And I tell you, FC Pride's definitely had some room to perhaps question some of the no calls in this one, and particularly in the second half. That was very close to being perhaps a chance from the spot.
Right, and just kind of a lot of contact. I feel like that's one you usually see end up in a penalty shot, but.
Right back to Velasquez. She'll poke one through. Stopped by Rhodes.
Nice job by Rhodes. It's doesn't really look like she got a lot of it, but she got just enough on full extension to keep the blank sheet alive.
Sub coming on. Marion Coro.
FC Pride substitution is Lita Dodge.
Hayashi steps in front of another. She'll throw on the e-brake and let the reinforcements come and help her out, as Peoria City will send it all the way back.
What a game by Hayashi there in the middle of the pitch. Just maybe not a lot of things that will show up in the stat sheet, but has been kind of the rock in the middle, both offensively and defensively for Peoria. She's a Sun Devil, plays her college at ASU.
Sutter again been a popular target here in the second half for Peoria City as they continue to lead 2-0. Found 2 goals in the side the first 35 minutes of that first half. But have just not been able to find a third here in the second. Well done by FC Pride to kind of coordinate their efforts coming out of the halftime locker room. Crowded to Hayashi again. Another chance for City. This one continues to pinball around. And Murphy will have forced a corner. And, excuse me, this will be a goal kick, initially signaling for the corner, but.
And another collective exhale there from Pride, as that one would almost surely put this one away and out of reach, just based off the way the game's been going, but a nice defensive stand to keep some hopes alive.
Following the goal kick, FC Pride trying to climb the ladder here and get the formation forward. Ball in behind again to Velasquez. He has been now a very productive target for them.
Again, nothing doing, but Velasquez is just a spark plug, timing her runs just exactly at the right time. And despite not having the size, she more than makes up with it for her speed.
Long shot effort blocked away. And Adekian will sail it out of play. And that's one of those moments for her, just because of the limited time she'll have with it. You can't really cut much of anything back. It's going to have to be 1 touch, 2 touch, and probably a shot.
Right.
And again, she's, like you said, made those really good runs in behind today.
Not often are you going to find yourself with too much space. She wants to, her game is close to the net, wants to get as close as possible, which has been much easier said than done.
Another update of the unofficial stats at this point. 13 shots, 3 saves, 1 corner for Peoria City. 8 shots, 5 saves, 2 corners for FC Pride. This will set up a free kick for FC Pride.
Another decent spot here for Pride. Last free kick ended up in a really good pass, not so much a great shot, but maybe they can combine the two for goal number 1 here.
High arcer. Headed away by Peoria City, but run onto by FC Pride. Continuing to drive low. Met and out for Pride corner. Just their 3rd of the evening.
Take as many as you can get. Keep the ball in this part of the field for as long as possible. Heighten your chances of getting one across, cutting this lead in half.
They will play the short. Sailing backside. Headed around, still free. This will belong to Rhodes. 66th minute here in the second half. Dalton, the second half following much of the trend set in the first and about the last 30 minutes, and so far neither of these two teams really seems really making a ton of efforts forward for that next goal.
Right, and for Peoria, this is about what I expected, and park the bus, if you will. No need to be overly aggressive with a 2-goal lead. Well, they have had some chances, and wouldn't shock me if they get a third.
They definitely played the chances well. It's not quite park the bus, but they've definitely allowed some more of the defenders to join the attack, but have been very well in holding possession if they haven't needed to take an opportunity that's not there. Now here's Mayock. Big strides forward for Mayock. FC Pride, and that one knocked away by Livingston.
And they were looking for another long ball to Velasquez, who, again, is the only one up for Pride.
Falling to FC Pride. To the top. Velasquez again, she has been a very good option for them in trying to get this offense forward.
Late whistle there. Pride will retain possession, though.
It's me, Lauren Adam. Lauren Adam finally ready to go. It's good service in.
Very nice again. There's just not enough space for Pride to get a good, strong shot on Rhodes.
Don Padilla. Played in behind again. Up the near end line.
Nice composure there from Nadakian.
Trying to go past Mayock, runs into a brick wall for Cordray.
This Cordray, like a linebacker, just met the ball carrier right where she was supposed to be. Forces a turnover.
That ball across that far in line back to FC Pride. No foul, playing on. Tobin tries to get in front of it. Hayashi. 70th minute, 20 to go here in Peoria.
Oh, maybe a chance here.
Vasquez definitely gave it a scare.
Cordray, good composure to get that one off the middle.
Peoria City's bench calling it to hold for possession here, so they no time and score just as much as anybody else in attendance here today. They will try and stretch out FC Pride, and then maybe if they get a little overextended, we'll have an opportunity for a third. Here's Leah Crotty. And that will escape through the back, and it'll be once more a goal kick to Haley Wade. Seppi getting ready to come back in for Peoria City. And Zaria Winston will come in for FC Pride. And Wade's goal kick. The NFC Pride throw-in. Seppi and company were convinced it was theirs. Jan Padilla whistled for that foul.
Well, Peoria maybe in terms of their offensive placement are being a little less aggressive, but definitely not on those high balls. Both teams really battling for them. Peoria not backing down and not afraid to rack up maybe a couple more fouls than necessary.
Good tackle by Mayock. Mayock got ball first.
Pride not happy about that.
FC Pride's bench not too enthused by the no call. Murphy continues to drive on, and that one will be given.
Yeah, number 15
and
blue.
we will have perhaps a yellow issued to the FC Pride bench, and it looks that will be the case.
Yeah, Gretchen Mallon out on the pitch was just infuriated. Her team not getting the call as the referee comes over to get everything under control, say a few words to the coach, and delivers the yellow.
Two subs coming on, one for each side.
Peoria City substitution. 14, Kylie Huffaker.
So Kylie Huffaker will come in, the Bloomington, Illinois native.
FC Pride substitution, 22, Dejanay Butler.
And Butler making an appearance for FC Pride. So this one from right about the range, Peoria City kind of cuts off where they would get the green light from, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't give it a go with the 2-0 lead.
I kind of think why not in this situation. Had one from not quite that distance go in. It was shorter than that, but out there in general.
Three-man wall, that one's curling, and Wade right there to make the save.
Moving to her right, picked up the spin of that ball really nicely, did Wade. And that's one where you need to catch it, as Wade did. You don't want to punch that one away and let it pinball around for a potential another chance. Got to squeeze it if you can get your gloves on it. Good technique.
Peyton Rhodes. Get another update of the unofficial stats to this point. 14 shots, 3 saves, 1 corner for Peoria City. For FC Pride, it's 8 shots, 6 saves, 3 corners with 2 goals against. Ball laid in behind to Seppi. And that will be long as a goal kick.
More substitutions here for Pride. As looks like Velasquez heads to the bench, but she had a pretty good game. Created some more chances here in the second half compared to the first half, so she should keep her head high.
Header ball missed. It'll be taken in by FC Pride. Well in tackle by Jordan Padilla. Able to get up and distribute. And FC Pride bench perhaps wanting a booking for that challenge. Instead, it'll just be a spot foul. Big drive forward here and well in for FC Pride.
Foul's really starting to rack up, and Peoria City not happy with that one.
A three-man wall for Peoria City with Murphy, Livingston, and Seppi.
And Pride have a few of their bigger attackers up front. They're looking to see if one of them can rise up, maybe get ahead to a ball to push past Rhodes. We'll see.
Long way out. Murphy comes up big. Now Padilla tries to send one up to Seppi quickly, and she's able to flip the field. Cordray. Nice ball in from Hayashi, laying it ahead for Sutter. Sutter keeping it alive. Hayashi. Mayock tries to get it through. And that one cleared away of danger. And Mayock's advance through. Two more subs getting ready to come in. Wiley and Klaus getting ready to make their second appearances of the contest.
24, Elijah Wiley, and 26, Annika Klaus.
Yeah, and coming up here on 78 minutes, this is crunch time, I would say, here for Pride. If they want to scratch off two, I would think one's going to have to come here very, very soon.
That's the Pride substitution, 21, Marion Coral.
Here's Hayashi. She has it poked away. Here's Mayock. Laying it off for Seppi. Seppi. And that was all too curling. So Wade will have it as we get closer and closer to about 10 minutes remaining in this contest before we get to stoppage time, to which we shouldn't have a ton. Only the one booking in the second half. No goals to speak of here in the second set of 45.
Yeah, decent amount of stoppage time there in that first half, but in this second, just been a lot of controlling the ball towards the middle of the pitch, and even the fouls, as you said, Cody, have not been bookings. It's just been a whistle and then now play on, despite the one yellow card given to the sideline of Pride.
And Seppi sends it off of, towards Padilla, who sends it off FC Pride. Rhodes will set things back up. And that throw-in flicked out of play. Will stay with FC Pride along this near side.
As the sun gets lower and lower, it's cooled off just a little bit. Not as muggy as it was when we first began. But these players ready to give it their all on both sides in our last 10, 15 minutes or so.
So another substitution coming in for FC Pride.
FC Pride substitution, 20, Amy Velasquez.
Velasquez back into the game. Not a surprise. I think if they're going to get any offense, it's going to come at the hands of her.
This will be a free. This will be another free kick. And this will obviously all get tacked on towards, post 90th minute when we get our stoppage time, which is probably creeping up closer to 3 or 4 minutes now if I had to guess. '82nd minute. And this will stay with FC Pride for a corner along that far side.
This is one you're going to want to capitalize at worst. Keep it in Peoria's zone. For Pride, as we have another sub.
And it appears we'll have just a few more moves. Option to play it short on this corner.
Nadakian, one of the team's better defenders, comes in for the corner. A little bit of a chess match here between two coaches.
Going back post, and that one off of FC Pride, and it will stay with Peoria City, and a goal kick for Rhodes. Laid off. Nearly a dangerous opportunity for FC Pride to run onto it. Padilla to Seppi. So we go 83rd minute. Seppi, a heads-up effort to at least try and reverse course there, and this will belong to Peoria City. Here's Mayock. Wiley, outside for Hayashi. Hayashi tries to sneak one through, and this will belong to FC Pride.
It's going to only be like the first or second shot that Hayashi has tried to take, but getting it done in other ways.
And Liza Wiley pressures on and fouls. Free kick coming. Here's Hayashi again. Trying to get it to Mayock. And this will be a booking against Peoria City. So in what has kind of turned into a bit of a foul-heavy second half, Peoria City receives the yellow.
Mayock did a really nice job of getting back after that turnover and contesting the ball. Unfortunately, way too much contact on the body made that an easy call for the referee. And it looks like Mayock will head to the bench. She's been the superstar. 4 goals in her last 2 games for Peoria. That's the last time we see her. Another good game from her once more.
Addie Dia comes in to give her a rest, and her shift is likely over for the day. Padilla with a strong tackle. Another throw in for FC Pride. Knifing through. Stood up again by Jordan Padilla. A lot of space to drive forward. Feeding it through. Chance here for FC Pride, and that one was wide.
Yeah, Pride not happy with the outcome there. That was one of the better chances they've had throughout the course of the game, and couldn't hit the net. Couldn't make Rhodes work.
Rhodes, with some oncoming traffic, able to get it away. '87th minute. Hayashi. Possession game largely in effect right now for Peoria City. Here's Padilla. Into Hayashi. Hayashi loads one up, floats it backside, and off the keeper and in!
Unbelievable. Hayashi just lined it up and let it fly. An absolute screamer off the crossbar.
That'll put them up 3, and Peoria City well on their way to ending this homestand on a high note.
Just talked about Hayashi's done everything in this game aside from score a goal. And she just scored probably the best one of the entire night.
First look, it looked like, I don't know if she quite got a hand on it, but it was a really good effort from Wade. I think it may have come off the crossbar and maybe taken just a slight touch off of her, but a heck of a rip from Hayashi puts Peoria City back up 3, and now they've scored at least 3 goals in each of their last 3 home matches.
And all 3 of them, this is a really good sign, all 3 of them from different players today.
Assisted by number 12, Addie Day.
So just as we were about to say, Peoria City in the possession game and on cruise control, Hayashi lets one rip and gives these fans making the trip out here on Father's Day one more thing to cheer about. Hayashi with the pressure. Now Bass trying to run it down for FC Pride. Kira Verberg back into the contest for FC Pride.
Fans that beat the Heat and stayed here to the end of the game were treated to the best goal of the game right there from Hayashi. An exclamation point on it's been a phenomenal performance. So they will go into full park the bus mode now.
90th minute. This shot ripped on, and Rhodes didn't have to worry about that one all too much. Another update of the unofficial stats at this point. 15 shots, 3 saves, 1 corner, 3 goals for Peoria City. For FC Pride, 11 shots, 6 saves, 4 corners with 3 goals against. Here's Seppi. Quarter A. She'll get it right back. So we are into stoppage time. So just the 2 minutes of stoppage time before Peoria City closes out. Will be another home win here at Shea Stadium, and they have looked the impressive part here in their inaugural season. Wiley will carry it out of play. Here's Bass. Bass with some space to work, cutting it back against Cordray. And Dia able to stop the play.
That's kind of been the story of the entire game there for Pride, not being able to get past that last line of defense. Whoever's subbed back there and whoever's just found themselves back on the defensive side of the ball for Peoria has done a phenomenal job.
That'll be out of play, belonging to FC Pride. And a foul against Wiley, and that one just a little out of control. Hayashi, as both coaching staffs glance down at their watches for potential remaining time here in the stoppage time. FC Pride with a really good chance, and that one's blocked away. It fell right to him, just inside the 18. And there is the full-time whistle. Peoria City claims this one 3-0, and revenge tastes sweet as they get their redemption after their loss to open the year.
Not only is it redemption, Cody, it's an exclamation point on a phenomenal season, specifically here at home as they have 2 more games on the road. Very, very good performances week in and week out from these Peoria City women here at Shea Stadium, and this one tonight, no different.
We want to take this time to thank some of our sponsors that make this broadcast and those like it in the future possible. First, for our friends down at Ducks on Farmington. Great food, great service from the fine folks at Ducks, Peoria City. Favorite places to be after the USL2 and WPSL season? Please go down to Ducks and let them know Clutch Sports Media sent you. As well as for the fine folks at Green Chevrolet. If you're in the market for a newer used car, please give them a look with their many locations, including one on Knoxville, and also let them know Clutch Sports Media sent you. Dalton, to put a bow on this one, the Gals will hit the road to close out the year following a 3-0 result. An impressive record and real goal differential here at home. Final thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm number one, extremely impressed. I think this is going to give a lot of fans in attendance a lot of reason to come back next season. An inaugural season being this successful doesn't really happen across any level of any sport. So very thoroughly impressed with the play out on the pitch here today, and this is momentum, huge momentum that the Carp could take with them onto the road for their final 2 games.
Couldn't have said it any better. For Cody Roskins and Dalton Carmine and everybody at our Clutch Sports Media Production, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for two reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at autohouseofpeoria.com today.